This is the cylinder head off the plunger model I did quite a while back now, and it went to a guy near Kidderminster, and he's done about 500 miles on it. I did about 480, so it's done almost 1,000 miles. But this was the one that had the pretty slack exhaust valve guide, and I nailed it and put it back in, and it seemed okay, but unfortunately it's failed, and I've now got to deal with it. Well, this is the three heads I've got, Martin, and this is yours, and these are two spares I had, and that's a brand new valve guide, and they're all the same. I've measured them. That goes in a tiny bit and then locks. This one won't go in at all, but on your head, as you can see, it just falls in right to the bottom. So I think these two are okay, but yours is it's just not, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. The valve guide hole is just enlarged itself somehow. But these two seem to be a lot better, so I'm going to choose whichever is the best of these two, if that's okay with yourself. Well, these are the two new drifts I've just made to knock in the valve guides, and I've slipped on a little copper washer just to protect the valve guide when I hit it with the hammer. So we'll see how they go in. Plan is to heat the cylinder head up as hot as I can get it in the oven, and I'll put the valve guides in the freezer, and they should go in quite easily. I will soon find out. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to measure everything as accurately as I can. I've got two new valves and two new guides here. I just need to check all the clearances and mic up all the parts and just see exactly what sizes I've got. I'm hoping that this is okay, and it was just a slack, a badly made valve guide that I put in there. But we'll soon find out, because I'm going to remeasure everything now. Well, I've got here an information sheet which is telling me the interference fit for cast iron cylinder heads is 2.5 thou. So that's what I'll be aiming for. Well, first of all, obviously I've got to measure these holes as they are now. And if it turns out that this hole here on the exhaust side is slightly oversized, I've got three other cylinder heads which I can turn to if that's the problem. But won't be able to find that out until I've measured everything. Well, I'm ready to put the valve guides back into this head, but before I do, I'm going to take as many measurements as I possibly can, both the stems and the valve guides, and I've got this little gauge here which measures the internal diameter of the hole for the valve guide. That goes from 1.25 inches to 1/2 inch, so that's fine. There are the two punches I've made, and I've replaced the copper washers for these little aluminium ones, and they'll protect the end of the valve guide. Sorry, wrong one. And that prevents any damage with a bit of luck. I've got the little Mitutoyo micrometer here. I've got two adjustable reamers, two solid reamers, my mic clamp, and I'm more or less ready to go now and measure everything I can. Well, this is the new inlet valve, and that's measuring 31060. Well, I've got two inlet valves. One of them measures 310 and the other measures 311. So I've got options there over a thou. I'll see how it goes later. Well, this is the inlet valve guide, and the OD is 5638, and the exhaust should be the same actually. Slight difference, that's 5636, so they're more or less the same. Well, that's the guide that measures 5638, and I'm going to lock that. And now I need to zero this little indicator. So that's bang on zero there, so anything to the left of that zero is smaller. So I'll measure the hole in the cylinder head now. Well, I don't know if you can see the gauge there, but it's reading something like 1.5 thou, at least a thou oversize, and that's on the exhaust. I'll just check the inlet now. Right, that's the inlet. I've checked it 2 or 3 times and it's showing a full 2 thou undersize. So there's quite a bit more wear in the exhaust valve guide than in the inlet. So I don't really know what's happened there, but the plan is now, sooner than write this head off, I'm going to see if I can make an oversized valve guide. I've sent off for some phosphor bronze, and I've also sent off for a piece of cast iron bar. I've spoken to the engineers and they're not recommending phosphor bronze in a cast iron head on an air cooled engine, and they said just stick with a high carbon cast iron. So that's the plan. I'm just waiting for that to come, and you can see how that just slides straight in there. Well, I don't know if you can actually. You can now, but that valve guide just slides in. It's not even anything close to a tight fit. So I've got this to go by. I'm going to see if I can make one, say 3 thou oversize interference fit, and see what happens. Well, I've got the valve guides in now. Just got to let it cool down. And the exhaust was a slightly slacker fit than the inlet, but I'm sure it'll be okay. So the next job is to get the head and the valves over to the engineers to have the valve seats recut and checked out on the vacuum gauge. Well, I'm back at the engineers now to pick up this cylinder head, They've just called me to say it's ready.
So you've got quite a wide angle on it.
Yeah.
Because you've only got a small area where it actually seats, and I've had to machine your guide back.
Okay.
Because it's actually catching, it's holding the valve off its seat.
All right. Okay.
It's a common thing on them. That's what you've got to do. Whatever you take off the seat, basically, you've got to take off the valve. Once it's been machined that many times.
Yeah.
So this is your inlet, as you can see.
Okay.
And you got the other one.
That's a good reading, yeah.
Anything over 0.4, and that's without compression and your springs on.
Right, of course.
By the time you put your springs on that, you'll be pulling 0.5 to 0.6.
Oh, great. Okay.
You probably won't be able to kick it over now. That's the problem you're going to have.
Is it? Oh, wonderful. Well, this is the cylinder head. I've just got back from the engineers, and as you can see, he's reground the valves and he's recut the seats, and we've had it on a vacuum gauge and they're both fine. There's no leaks. He's told me not to lap them because I won't be able to improve on them, but what I will do is I'll check for the tooth out clearance he said we have there, and that should be okay if I can, of course. A bit tricky to measure those, but this is ready to go back to the guy now. His original head, I'm working on that at the moment. I'm going to make an oversized valve guide for the exhaust on that, and that head will come back to life again. But these look fine, happy with them.